two players, two left wing backs that we signed, thinking that I think one was trying to replace the other. We had Yasser Larouci firstly. It looks like he's gone to the AFCON already. And then Luke Thomas as well. So we brought in Luke Thomas because I think we felt that Yasser Larouci wasn't good enough. And also Rhys Norrington-Davies, I think we expect him to come back a little bit earlier than what he has, but it's fantastic that he's back now. But would you expect or want to see Larouci and Thomas go back?
Thomas, definitely yes. No, I've made no bones about that for the last few weeks. I think it's time. I don't think he's at the required level. I don't think he's at the standard. I think positionally, he's a fish out of water almost every time I've seen him. I don't think he really understands the responsibility and defensive duty that you need to be able to play that position in this current Sheffield United team or in any team which is going to be at the bottom end of a division. I think if you were at the top of the division, if you were at the top of the championship, he'd be a real asset because you'd use his pace, you'd use his ability to get forward. We've seen him drift into the back post on a couple of occasions and create chances for himself. So there's definitely a market there for Luke Thomas, but he's just the complete opposite of what Sheffield United need from a left back or a left wing back right now. So I think he's got to go back. I think that frees up a domestic loan, and we need a domestic loan spot because we can get a better player back into the squad. So for me, he's got to go back. Larouci is a different question. So obviously he's not a domestic loan, so he's not taking up what we see as being a really valuable spot within our squad. I think against Aston Villa, he showed a lot of defensive grit and responsibility. I thought he did really well in that game. I thought against two of the better right-hand-sided players in the division in Cash and Bailey, he really held his own. And I think his proactive defending is different to Thomas's, where Thomas follows his man and really gambles high to make sure he's forwards and gets positionally out of his depth. What Larouci does is he actually just tries to win the ball quick, and sometimes that really hurts United. But I do think that there's something there that we could nurture and try to develop. Now, having said all that, if Max Lowe's fit, if Rhys Norrington-Davies is fit, if we're going to continue playing a back four and Austin Trusty and Jack Robinson are fit, I think that's four players who are ahead of him in the pecking order. Why are we spending money on somebody to be our fifth choice left back? I don't think there's much value in that. I think if he's going to miss a month anyway, go into the AFCON, there's no value in Sheffield United continuing to pay his wages when he can't play for us for a month. So having considered everything, as much as I think he's, of the two, I would rather keep Larouci, I think we should send both back.
Did you mention Ben Osborne in there as well?
I didn't mention Ben Osborne in there, but obviously that's another player who can play left back or left wing back. We don't need a loan signing. You sign your loan when you're in the position United are in, when you've got no money and you're not spending big. Your loan players have to be automatic first choice. They have to be James McAtee and Ben Brereton-Diaz. They can't afford to be Luke Thomas and Yasser Larouci. Like, that's the head and tails of it. Is you have to be first choice, straight in your team, make you better. They can't be sixth choice. Oh, it might be nice to have once and every now and again to play in cup against Gillingham. Like, you can't do that. It's just wasting money. So, yeah, definitely Thomas. And I'm not definitely, but as close definitely as I can be without being definitely, send Larouci back as well.
Yeah, fair enough. I think out of the two, I think I would rather keep Larouci anyway, to be honest. I think he offers us a little bit more. And I think that Luke Thomas just sees this as, I've got to go out on loan. And I think that Leicester fans had already kind of made their mind up on Luke Thomas before it even come to United, to be fair. And I was wondering, why are we signing somebody from Leicester City that doesn't even get into the Leicester City side? And I did make my own kind of excuses for us signing him, thinking that he just doesn't fit the way that they play. But really, you should be in a team like that. If you're going on loan to a Premier League club from a Championship club, why are you not in the Championship club's team?
Yeah. I spoke to somebody from, I think it's called the It's 11, It's Heaven, Jamie Vardy podcast or something like that, a group of Leicester fans, and they said they could not believe it when he ended up in the Premier League. Like, they got relegated and they were like, wait a minute, how has he got to move back to the Premier League? And I think that sums it up. They were just unbelievably shocked that he'd been able to find that level. We were obviously desperate at the time. We'd been taken down by a lot of injuries. And so he just came in because we needed a body to be able to play that role. And he was the man that was available. And I think, for a time, he did what we asked of him. There should be no sort of nothing personal against him. Just don't think he's good enough at the moment. I think it's his positional discipline. And we saw it from the very first time he played for United, where if his right winger runs inside, he doesn't hold his position, he follows his man. And that just leaves you so open. It just creates an entire sort of gap down the entire left-hand side of your defence that other teams can play through, play into, and just decimate you from. It's why we concede so many goals, because of that space that's vacated, giving them the opportunity to put easy balls into the box. And so I just don't think he's ever suited it. I don't think he's ever got it. And to be honest, I just don't think he's a defender.
No, possibly not. And I think the thing is as well, we're saying all this. Who would you send back? Who would you not? In these deals, there's always things in there that says you can't send this
Yeah.
player back, or you've got to do
Could
this,
be
or you've
wrong.
got to do that. So it might all come down to business as well. Larouci might go back because it might be the easier one to. You don't have to pay up the rest of his loan, or I don't know. We don't know all the ins and outs of these deals, but yeah,
No idea.
I'm with you. I would send them both back, to be honest. But Larouci would be the one that I would rather keep if it came to it.